Today I'm going to inform you about the pros and cons about drug testing welfare recipients. Right now, Indiana is working on a bill to require welfare recipients to be drug tested, and it's more of a Republic-driven cause. Florida actually instituted a law similar to the last one, and basically in Florida, all recipients pay for their own drug screening, which is eventually paid back if they pass a test. Those who fail their drug test can still get the benefits, but only their children get it, and they don't get any of it. So the argument against drug testing welfare recipients are that the process is unconstitutional because it is an illegal invasion of personal privacy and violates a Fourth Amendment right. Because it targets a specific group of the people on welfare, and to counteract that, in Indiana, they created a cause that required politicians and legislatures to pass a drug test, but the amendment caused the bill not to pass through. So they switched to random drug testing, so whoever is in the welfare system will be randomly selected for a drug test, or if they have suspicion that they believe that they're using drugs. But the bill is not yet successful because of the amount of money it costs. The average cost for one single drug test per person is roughly $42, not including the cost of the person that administers the test or the one that runs the results. And most of these drug tests fail to detect alcohol abuse, the most common abused substance among Americans, and they're most likely to detect marijuana use since the active ingredient in marijuana stays in the body system longer than any other illicit substance. Therefore, drug tests often fail to identify people who are using more powerful, more addictive, and more dangerous drugs like methamphetamine or cocaine, which exits the body system in a matter of hours or days. The simple fact is most people who have the little money to buy drugs, little to no money don't buy drugs, and the idea that all welfare recipients use drugs is not supported by the evidence. There are also a handful of arguments supporting drug testing welfare recipients. In the midst of the Great Depression, social safety nets were created to give the crumbling economy some type of relief. There was a saying during the Great Depression, it used to be when a man was down on his luck, he would move south. Now he goes on welfare. Welfare is a social contract between people in need. Some people abuse this contract. Drug testing guarantees that welfare recipients make responsible action continuously. Programs like Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, unemployment relief, and public assistance were created to help struggling Americans. As welfare expenses reach $1 trillion a year, taxpayers have the right to know that their hard-earned money is going to people who truly need it, and it's not being wasted on self-destructive urges like drug use. Welfare recipients must trust that they will be taken care of when needed, and the ones who pay must trust it's necessary but temporary. Welfare has become a long-term commitment for some. Studies have shown that drug testing welfare recipients has a potential to significantly reduce unneeded spending. Florida's new policy requiring drug welfare recipients to be drug tested has reduced new enrollment by such as 48%. This caused future applicants who use illegal drugs to simply not choose to enter the welfare system. They have the option of joining the welfare system in the future once they have stopped their substance abuse. But welfare assistance should not be a one-way grant. We need to provide such aid on the basis of reciprocal obligation. Taxpayers should provide a support to those who really need it, and the recipients in return should participate in responsible activities as a condition of receiving the aid. It's a real issue that needs to be taken care of. Recent studies have shown that 1/3 of welfare recipients use illegal drugs. Requiring welfare recipients to stop using illegal drugs is a core element of this process. Anyone getting a welfare check should be drug tested. Just like the people working a job, welfare recipients should be tested for heavy drugs as well. If they are required to be tested to get paid, so should the ones receiving assistance money as well. Politicians who are entrusted to run cities, towns, and countries are typically required to perform drug tests. Throughout our lives, the majority of people will be required to take a drug test for one reason or another. People in the workforce have to take drug tests in order to maintain standards. Professional sports teams perform drug tests, the military performs drug tests, and many college students require physicals that include drug tests before the student can even attend the university. Many companies have mandatory drug tests as a condition of employment. If you are not using illegal drugs, you should not have a problem passing it. We all know that there are people who get assistance and are not using illegal substances. We are not profiling you just because you need assistance. Understandably, people go through rough times. However, there are too many people who work the system and abuse it. The people who are working are getting tested for it more than one way. If help is needed, give it. People need to show they are not spending money they receive on useless things. If it were a matter of giving a family or family member a loan to help them get out of tough times, would any of us doing and knowing they had a serious drug problem and not looking for treatment to help themselves overcome this addiction? If we did, would we ultimately represent true love, care, and compassion? Even the strongest supporters of welfare would have to agree that government programs should not encourage lifelong dependency, but we should instead provide a temporary safety net that still encourages people to return to self-sufficient way of life. The second reason to do this is our responsibility as a taxpayer. Even though hard-working Americans don't exactly have the choice when it comes to paying taxes without facing consequences. I hope this information has allowed you to learn about both sides of drug testing welfare recipients.